Another thing we can animate is not just the slide transition, but we can animate different pieces that we have in our slides. So for instance, I'm going to select our title text box. We still have the animations window open from when we adjusted the transition. We can see that we have our slide flip animation as the first thing that's going to happen, and now we can add something else. So because I've selected this text box, I can click Add Animation. If I don't have anything selected and I click Add Animation, nothing happens. So you need to make sure that you select an item, click Add Animation, and now we can choose a bunch of other things that we can have happen. So fade in is a classy animation to choose. Appear just kind of pops in, but you've got all these other things that are mostly just flying in from different directions. I'm going to stick with the fade in, and we'll click on play. We can see what that's going to look like. So we've got our first transition, and then I'm going to click and I get my next transition. Now that looks a little bit weird because I've got by Paul and Chris before we see the title. So I'm also going to want to select my subtitle, and we can see all the things that are adding up here. Add animation, I'll do another fade in, and when we click play, we'll just have our blank slide, which is not very exciting right now, but the order of these things is now better. And click stop when you want to keep playing around. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but somebody's going to be looking at this blank slide thinking, okay, now what? So we can have things happen automatically, because right now it's set for a click to happen. So we'll click on that animation, and instead of on click, I'm going to say after previous, which means after the slide transition, this is going to happen automatically. Same with our names. I'll change it from click to after, or you could do with, so they come out at the same time, but I'm going to do after. And now when we click play, there we go. That's much nicer. And then we would click and keep going on with our slides. So go ahead and play with animating your different things. And I'll show you what we can do here. I would start with, if you wanted to do your building, I would do the title first and have that automatic, and maybe you would have the image next, and that doesn't necessarily have to be automatic. You could, but let's do that. We'll do after, and then select the text and do after. And that way everything kind of happens automatically, and the people watching the slideshow don't have to click. But you may want to have things happen on a click, and we'll talk about that in the next movie.